Okay, so we'll start. Chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So you all can hear me? Hare Krishna. So,
Yes, Mataji.
okay, fine. Thank you. Let us pay obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshunmitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manabhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Ittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatrabhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva cha Patitam Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll go to the thing. So we saw yesterday in chapter 17, Krishna was talking about faith. How Arjuna's question was, what happens to the people who are worshipping as their own whimsical way, but they have some faith. Then Krishna talks about the three modes of nature, how about the sacrifice of the austerity of speech, body, and mind, and then afterwards he says even charity should be about the three modes of nature analysis, and finally he says everything should be done for the Lord. Om Tat Sat. Only then that will be beneficial, otherwise not even for the next birth. So today is a conclusive chapter. In fact, in chapter 2, Krishna says, he concluded, it was like an introductory conclusion, giving answers to all the doubts Arjuna had. Okay, but now in this chapter, it is conclusion. He is concluding everything, and then actually, it starts with a query by Arjuna about karma sannyas. Again, this question pops up every time. It's a frequently asked question, because everyone finds when you do any activity, might as well renounce and go away. So that's why this question keeps coming, and now Krishna is again he has to talk about from the karma yoga point of view. Then he talks about 5 factors of action. Then finally, he again analyzes the 3 modes of nature. So again, he goes back to that model, and many other factors he takes up for analyzing in 3 modes of nature. Even Varnashrama Dharma, which he had talked in chapter 4, but now he is talking about the qualities which he had not touched. Finally, he comes to spiritual platform, the Brahman platform, and finally he says there 3 confidential knowledge which he reminds us and conclusive. And after everything, he tells Arjuna, I've told you everything, I've given you all the information. Now it's your choice. You decide what you want to do. Okay, and the end, the Sanjaya concludes. And then the chapter ends with a conclusion by Sanjaya. Okay. Arjuna uvacha sannyasa mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditam tyagascha rishikesha pritak keshina sudam. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation and of the renounced order of life, O killer of the Keshi Deva, Rishikesha. So he is asking again about the Tyaga also, because this keeps coming to all of us. Why at all might as well take up sannyas. So here Krishna has to clarify this, because this is the how even everywhere, because when you do some activity, there's a reaction, no? Whether you do punya or the pampa, you have some reactions. Why at all get into this complexity? So Bhagavan Uvacha now is telling to give up the results of all activities is called renunciation. That is, we have to do the activity, but not the claim the results. You have to give up the results of all activities called renunciation by the wise, and that state is called renounced order of life. So you are doing a duty, but you are not claiming the results. You are not getting attached to the results of your activities. Okay, but there are, now he's telling about what will happen, what are the things which you might face. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up. Okay, they say we should give up all this fruitive, means we should not do any activity. But there are other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. So there are others. So we have two kinds of people. So he says there are two classes. You will be having some doubt. What is happening here? This is what we find even in today's world. Then Krishna is very clear. He says, acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. That means we have to do it. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. So it's not only for us, for everyone. Everyone there to continue to do yagna, dana, tapa, karma. Okay. So these things will purify for purification purpose. So we need to do it. So he is very clear, and we don't have to have any doubt. So now he is using the word should be performed. So we have to do that. Then all these activities should be performed without any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. Okay. We have to do it as a matter of duty and not for anything else. So here, the person, you should not get puffed up, oh, I'm doing such and such a thing and all that. We should not get into that false ego, but we just have to do the duty. And so this is my final opinion. So he is very clear cut, he's giving his instruction. We should do it. So any sacrifice, charity, which all he discussed last chapter, he says everything, all activities should be done for him and without any expectation of result, only for our duty. So now, he's again describing that in the modes of nature. So people know them who do it as per the duty, they are in the mode of goodness. Okay, but there are some who know what the duty would be, but they will try to find so difficult to do. Hare Krishna, any doubt? So difficult to do. I am not.
Mataji, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hare Krishna. You can't hear me, or how is it? You can listen? Hare Krishna?
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay, right. So now he says that you have to do your duty. When people who do it, they are in the mode of goodness. But there are people who find some problems, some difficulties, or they're scared if I do something happens. And that kind of thing, they are in the mode of passion. But there are some who don't want to do it. They are not bothered. They are under illusion. They are said to be in the mode of ignorance. So, but Krishna says we should perform. Or you can take some example like we have to get up early in the morning. Suppose the alarm is ringing. The people are in the mode of goodness. They will, okay, let me get up. If the alarm is ringing and they have to do a lot of work, and he will just get up thinking it's his duty. Whereas the mode of passion, they'll say, oh, my head is aching today, my back is paining, so let me sleep for some more time. And then, whereas in the people who are in the mode of ignorance, they will just sleep through the alarm. So now Krishna says, so people, how they do it depends on their nature, how they handle it. but we should perform our prescribed duties. Then now he's going to give more explanation about the action. See, there are, O mighty Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in the Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, performer, senses, endeavor, and so how do we understand this? There are 5 factors which are. In fact, whenever we do something, we think we are the, oh, I've done so much, I desired, I worked very hard and I did it, that's all. That's how generally people talk. Even we also do the same thing. They say, I have done it. This is my effort. I have put in so much effort and I was able to complete this task. But here Krishna is pointing out something else. So how do we understand this? Suppose now I'm taking this class for you all. So I'm using, what are the facilities? I'm using a laptop. I'm using the internet. So there are so many facilities which I'm using, right? So, and also I need a place to do it. I'm sitting from my home and doing it. And you're also in this class, sitting in your particular places thing and you're listening to it. And so we need a place. We need the facilities. And also performer, the one who is talking and also the one who is listening. If I just do the course and nobody is there to listen, that also won't be hurting. So I need people who are performers. Who are they? We are the ones who are taking the class and there are others who are listening to it. You all are there to listen. But, and also we need the senses. I need my mouth, I need my eyes, I need my nose. Likewise, you all also need your senses to be part of this action, to part of this course. That is enough. It's not just enough to have the place, you have the people, you have the senses, but you also have to put effort. I have to put the effort of talking, I have to put the effort of putting, and also you all have to put the effort of coming and attending the class and listening to it, right? So there's an endeavor. And also we have admins and all who are all part of this course. Also doing behind silently, they come put all the PDF and all the information for you all in the WhatsApp and everything they are doing. So all of that is required. And above all that, we need the sanction of the super soul. So if the Krishna doesn't want it, these things will never happen. However much we try that. So he says, any activity, there are 5 factors: place of action, performer, senses, endeavor, ultimately the super soul. So here in the picture I've shown is a marketplace where you have the seller as well as buyer. You need the facilities and you need the senses and thing to talk, and also the effort. The seller has to put an effort of bringing his goods and thing to sell, and the buyer has to bring his money and all that. So all this endeavors, and finally, the Lord should be there to sanction that place. Otherwise, the business cannot be. Same way, if you want to build a factory or a temple or anything, same way you need the place, you need the performers, and you need the senses, endeavor, and the super soul as to sanction. Only then it gets. So we should not think that we are the only one who are doing any action. It can be anything, anything which you want to organize. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So, Bhagavad Gita, it says we should give credit to every player involved in the action. So, who was there, we should play involved in the action. Now, he continues to talk about action, about the motivation. So what it is done, usually the motivation for any action is done at the subtle level, at the mind level. But that is, if you want to anything, no, see like this game you want to play. So you must have the knowledge, right? And you should also know the object of knowledge is the ball, how to play. And you are, so if you want to take action, all the 3 factors, you will first think, okay, I know how to play, I know how to use this, the ball I require, and a person. But finally, the action, when you take, your senses have to be used. You use your hands and your legs and all, you have to play the game. So first in the motivation, it will be at the subtle level, at the mind level. So otherwise the action won't have taken place. You would have only thought about it and you would have planned about it, but you won't have taken any action. So that's what here Krishna says. These are the three factors which motivate the action, but the senses, the work and work comprise the threefold basis. Okay. Now he is going to expand these things in on the basis of modes of nature. So all that is now like last chapter about the sacrifice, austerity, and all which he explained in the by the modes of nature. Now also he is going to talk about this. There are three kinds of nature of knowledge based on the modes of material nature. Knowledge is what we are talking here is mostly the spiritual knowledge. The knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all its existence. Undivided in the divide is knowledge. That is, he knows the soul and not the body, and everyone and Paramatma is there in all the living entities. So he is very clear. So he is in the mode of goodness, that knowledge. Here, the knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is not that clear, is little confused. Whereas the people in the mode of tamas, for him, he is only at the body platform. He only is bothered. He will do one kind of work as the all in all without knowledge of the truth. He is not interested in the spiritual knowledge and he is said to be in the mode of good darkness. Okay. So we see others as we see ourselves, isn't it? So this is how we are. Then there are three kinds of actions based on the modes of material nature. There are actions performed in ignorance and delusion without consideration of future bondage or consequence, which inflicts injury and is impact. So these people, they does not see anything. He is not bothered about the consequences. He even doesn't hesitate to cause injury not only to themselves, he is also to the others. They are in the mode of ignorance, tamas. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires is acted from sense of false egoism. So these people, this is what we see mostly today. That is, they work very hard. They want big projects. They're very, they're selfish. They have their own desires and they want to quite proud of it. They think that they have to do this. If we can't do it, then there's no purpose in living. So they have to achieve something. They have to do that. So they are in the mode of passion. So, and they'll put a lot of endeavor. They'll put a lot of effort in it. So that kind of action performed to gratify his desires is said to be in the mode of passion. But those actions which are done as per duty, which is performed, I'm studying because it's my duty to study. Not, I need to get marks, I need to be the first, I should get more than the others so that I will get. So that is your selfish. You are trying to think it. In that way, when you go, you may not understand the subject itself. All you're focusing is on the marks and thing, and finally, all you want is to get a good job and salary. But you won't have understood the subject itself. Sometimes it happens. So here, if the person works, action is done in accordance with duty, without attachment, without love or hate, by one who has renounced fruitive results is called action in the mode of goodness. So we saw knowledge, action. Now it talks about the workers based on the modes of nature. So the worker who is free from all material attachments, false ego, is enthusiastic and resolute. It's not that he has given up, so he'll be very morose or anything, but he's very because he's doing it for the Lord. And he's not bothered about the success or failure. So he's the worker, he's in the mode of goodness. That means he is in the Krishna consciousness. Whereas their workers was attached to the fruits of his labor. He's very selfish. He passionately wants to enjoy them. So he's greedy, envious, impure, and things. So they do. Why do they do that? Big projects. They want to earn money. And what is the motivation? They want to enjoy. So this is their thing. Want to enjoy fame, to enjoy the assets he'll get. So they're all the time in anxiety and grief. Okay, so they are in the mode of passion. So they take rejects. But there are others who are in the mode of tamas. they're always working against the injection of scriptures, materialistic, obstinate, they'll cheat, they will expert in insulting others, they're lazy, they want to take the shortcuts, they procrastinate, and that kind of workers are in the mode of ignorance. And the best example could be setting up a casino. So they do this. So they try to get tomorrow I'll do better, tomorrow will never come. They want to earn money at the shortcut. Okay. Now comes the intelligence. So here person is not in the mode of goodness. He is not in confusion. He will not ask their neighbor, should I go to gambling place or to temple? He knows clearly what he has to do. So he is not feared, not lamented. Whereas the tamas people, they just do the opposite. They will think what is a religion is to be religion and the religion to be irreligion. They'll do just the opposite. And they are under the illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, sort of. Whereas the passion people, they know what is religion and religious, but they don't have the strength to act on it. Like, so they try, they know that it's not good, drinking is not good, but they will try to try it. They want the, so they are supposed to be having imperfect understanding. So this is that these are the two extremes, and this person is sometimes he'll fall down also. He is in the mode of passion. So we saw now comes to determination. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, unsatiated, steadfast. See, you Krishna talks all that when he's expand every aspect so that you will get a clear understanding. So he is going through, and since he started this modes of nature, material modes of nature, so he's explaining every aspect of our lifestyle. He's talking it on the basis of this modes of material nature. So for determination, they are steadfast by yoga practice. That is Abhyasa and Vairagya. They are in the mode of goodness. That is the still. Here, determination which holds fast to fruitive result in religion, economic development, and nature of passion. So they will talk big things. Most of our motivational talks which we find today are all in the mode of passion. That determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, illusion is said to be in the mode of darkness. So daydreaming, there are people determined to be sad. They want to be fearful. Whatever you try to ask them to come out of it, they know. They want to be fearful. They want to be sad. Then you can't do anything. They are determined to be like that. So, and then dreaming. So that is how can we know how much you tell them to look at things beyond sadness or thing. No. They are very attached to their feelings of sadness. It means they are determined to be sad or fearful, something that is not there. So they will like to be in that kind of mode of darkness. Okay. So we saw determination. Now, happiness also, he says, is describing on the modes of material nature. So that which in the beginning may be like poison, like painful, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Like getting up early in the morning, chanting 16 rounds. Also we have to follow so many regulations. So many regulations, but when you keep on doing it, in the beginning it will be tough. But slowly we get habit and we will be quite happy doing it. So this is a mode of goodness. Whereas the mode of passion, they are started, which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end is said to be in the nature of passion. There, in the beginning, it is happy, but later it is painful. Here, that happiness is bound to self-realization, but beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, is said to be in the nature. They are pain in the beginning as well as in the end. So we can understand this by taking another example, say like cricket match. See, when you have a study and you have cricket match is there in the TV and you have an exam tomorrow. So you are very tempted to go sit and watch the cricket match in the TV because it is somewhere else is being played and you want to see because your favorite players are there. But you have an exam also tomorrow. So, so one person who is in the mode of goodness, you say, okay, what to do? Then there are lots of people are enjoying, but still I have to study. And so he doesn't look at the watch TV, but he focuses on his studies and is able to do his exam well. So it was painful for him not to watch the TV. But there are others who were very enjoying themselves seeing the thing, but they didn't get much time to prepare for the exam and they failed it. But there are who not want to see the TV, nor they are interested, they are into some drugs or some indifferent to the studies. So for them, pain in the beginning as well as pain in the end. So they don't do their exams well. So we can understand that happiness also, we can describe depends on the modes of nature. So here we see Prabhupada, how his determination which helped the movement to come. He was so determined to follow his spiritual orders from his spiritual master. So he was very determined to spread the Krishna consciousness to everyone. So is there any questions till now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I keep going like a ma because it's a long chapter. That's why I'm going a little fast. But if there's any question, any clarity you need till now, Hare Krishna. Someone was talking, I didn't hear. Hare Krishna. Fine. So there are we come back to 4 kinds of varnashram. Okay, based on the modes of nature, Krishna is going to explain. Brahmanas, they are the intelligent class, right? Then Kshatriyas, they are the ruling class, administrative. Vaishyas are the business class, and the Sudras are the workers. So these ashramas, I think they are based on the qualities is going to describe now, but it is based on guna and karma. Okay. So there are 4 kinds of ashramas based on the modes of material nature. So the Brahmanas are in the mode of goodness. Okay. These are the 9 qualities they have. They are self-control. They are able to control their mind. They are very austere, peacefulness, purity, tolerance, honesty. Tolerance is the success of failure. Their tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge. They are very full faith in the Lord, religiousness. So these are the 9 qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Okay. And then they are in the mode of goodness. Whereas Brahmanas not by birth. People who have these qualities are the ones we call them as the Brahmanas. So, and they are in the mode of goodness. Now the Kshatriyas, the qualities of work for Kshatriyas are heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. So they should have these qualities to call themselves as Kshatriyas. Okay, and they are in the mode of passion. And whereas for Vaishyas, farming, cattle raising, and business are the qualities of work for Vaishyas. They are in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. Whereas Sudras, there is labor and service to others, and they are always in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so this is how the qualities have been described and not on the birth. The division is based on the guna and karma, not on birth. So these are the qualities. But most of the time we are only having this capitalist people and the workers class, and people who think they are in the politicians, they are actually don't have all these qualities, Kshatriyas. So we are very clear, the Shastras. So whatever we see, the caste system today is all perverted. It's not what it was been as described by the Lord Krishna. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, can. So in whichever ashram you are in, whether as a Brahmana or Kshatriya or a Shudra thing, you just do your duty, and by worshipping the Lord and who is all source of all beings, you attain perfection. So it doesn't depend Attaining perfection or getting liberated doesn't mean that you have to be a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. So wherever, in whichever nature you are, whichever work you have taken up, all you have to do is carry on your duty and as per your nature, and worship the Lord, who is the source of all beings, then you can attain perfection. So the Lord says, so this is the basis of that. So all we need, see, in any function, any organization, anything, we need all the 4 classes of people. Even to organize a simple function also, you need all the 4 kinds of people. You need the money, you need somebody to organize the financial things, someone to take the leadership quality to coordinate the whole activities, and they need some people to clean the temple, everything. So we need all the 4 kinds of people for any activity, for any place. So, but they have to do as per the duty and attain perfection. So this is the basis. It's better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. But you see, in all these places, no, even a Shudra thing, he'll be working for somebody. He might have a crazy boss. So it must be difficult to work for such a boss, isn't it? It's not that work of a Shudra, of a laborer, is very simple or anything. No, even for a Vaishya is also tough. So any occupation you take, there will be some problem or the other. It's not that you might think, oh, that job is might easy, so we can take it up. It's not so. So he says, you do it as per your nature. Even if you have done it perfectly, it's better, because prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Okay, so because Krishna really wants us to come back, that is the reason he's telling us, do as per the thing, as your nature. Even if you do it, all you have to do is here. You want me to explain this picture? This picture is very nice. I like this picture very much. So first, here there's a competition, and you have all these animals have come for the competition. You have an elephant, fish, seal, dog, penguin, monkey, and the bird. So the competition, they says, the first who climbs the tree will win the competition. So when they don't know for what they have come, but they have assembled here. Once they have assembled, they come to know that this is the competition, that they have to climb the tree to win the race. So this will be a shock to them. The dog is very surprised. He says, how can I climb the tree, and why should he give such a kind of thing for a competition? And seal is very surprised. He says, my God, I have come to a place with all mad people, and they are trying to give us such a competition. They are holding it for us. Whereas fish is open mouth. He is just open. He's too surprised. He can't talk. He says, I can't even come out of this water, and then he wants me to climb the tree. Does he have any brains in him? So that's what he is thinking. The elephant is thinking, if I go to the tree itself will fall down. What can it think of climbing? Penguin also has a seed, but only person who are happy are the bird and the thing. So what we learn from here is that we have to do as per our capability. We don't have to bother about somebody else. Whatever situation we are, let us do our duty. I mean, whatever our capacity. So we have to find that, and we have to give it to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. So because each one of us has some talent or the other. So we have that, we should work on that, and then be in the Krishna conscious, and we will give the results to the Lord. So because Krishna really wants us to come back. He's not telling you to do this duty only and that thing. He's not telling. Whatever we have, the talent, we have to work on that. Okay. This is what we learn here. So one can obtain the results of renunciation simply by self-control and becoming unattached to the material things, disregarding material enjoyment. This is the highest thing, but we can work towards that. That at least we should know where to reach, what should be our goal. So this is Akam. So till now he was talking about the material thing platform. Now he's telling us how to come up to the spiritual plan. Now he's again reminding us what all he talked about earlier. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Sovshati Na Kamshati Samaha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Lavatu Param. So this is now he's telling that what was the first confidential knowledge he gave us? Anybody remembers? Hare Krishna. We are the soul and not the body. That's the first philosophy he taught, isn't it? So one who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes a supreme Brahman, and he never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto him. So the person who is teaching it, once you are finally situated in that knowledge that you are the soul and not the body, then you have nothing to claim for or desire for, because you are know that everything is done by the Lord. So then he will only think of doing the devotional service to him. So such a person, he attains pure devotional service unto him. Okay. Then one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the thing. So we are getting to know what is the, finally, now he's concluding. No? So he again tells us that only by devotional service, we can go to his abode. Only by devotional service, we can have the sambandha, we can relate to the Lord, and slowly by relating, we can develop our love for the Lord. So if you don't have love for the king, he will never allow you to come into his kingdom, isn't it? Same here, by devotional service, loving service to the Lord, we can go back. And that too, why we have related to him, we are part and parcel of him. We are the spiritual soul and not the body. So with that, we are related to him. So this is the verdict of the Supreme Personality of God, Param Vachan. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Okay. So by his mercy, the devotees are always under his protection, and they are engaged in activities. They are not renounced their activities. They are engaged in all kinds of activities. And this. So this question I put in because this was Prabhupada wanted to have his ISKCON temples to be built in the middle of the city. So it is where a lot of distractions are there, and I mean, mode of passion and ignorance is more, no? So one of the devotees asked Prabhupada, there are so many distractions in New York, and can't we go and live in a farm? Can't we have a temple there? So then Prabhupada was saying, this is Krishna consciousness. Why are you getting attracted to that? Is just keep on chanting. Because your heart is impure, you have to think, you have to clear by that. Do not get tension. If you get attracted, understand what is the reason. The reason is you are impure. You are longing for something. So chant properly and continue preaching. Then it will go away. So just being that becomes having temple in the midst of city. It was like, testing for them. It was easy so that they could improve themselves. They can purify them. So that is why he said chanting is the thing. So once you take up that being in Krishna conscious under his protection, then the devotees will reach my abode. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If you do not work in such consciousness, you act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So the choice is in us. Either we have to choose Krishna or Maya. So he is very clear. So if you do not work in such consciousness, you will not be hearing me and you will be lost. And you can go through many cycle of birth and death. That's what happens. Fine. So the choice is us. The Supreme Lord is it. So first he said we are the soul and not the body. And then he talked about the Paramatma. That is, he is there in everyone's heart. Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living, who are seated as on a mission. So we are Is there. He is there witnessing every activity, and he is the one who is permitting and is the sanctioning authority, and it's only the modes of nature we are working. So he has told us, first is we are part and parcel, we are soul, and we are part and parcel. That's the second confidential knowledge. So we have to schedule Krishna consciousness into our life so that we'll be in this consciousness. So finally he says, surrender unto me, unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain peace and the supreme enlightenment. So by utter surrender to the Lord only we can get peace. Okay, that's as simple as that. Thus I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. So this is how is the teacher, best teacher, who is telling, I've given you the whole thing, the philosophy, I've given you the instructions. So now you run the car. I've told you the skill, I've given you that. It is now for you to drive the car, isn't it? So you do what you wish to do. That's how the psychologists to work. They should not give you, decide for you. You have to decide. We have to decide. So choice is ours. Fine. So Krishna says the choice is Arjuna. Now you decide whatever you want to do. And he is giving Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskaru Mam Evashri Satyam. This thing keeps repeating even in chapter 9. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me, offer your homage. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So we have to do all these 4 things. Start off with thinking of him all the time and become him devotee. By thinking of him is what we do. We know his pastimes, form, everything. So we start being chanting will help us to think of him all the time. Okay. Sarva dharmam parityaya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshami mashruja. So now abandon all varieties of religion. People will only stick to this sentence, but they don't go to the next. Just surrender unto me. So abandoning all things, just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sin. So this is as simple as that. We don't have to worry about what all karmas we have done earlier, what all sinful reactions, and for what we have come today, and how we have to think. All we have to do is just surrender to him and do the 4 things he's been telling us to do. Then he will release the sinful reactions. Do not fear. So we don't have to fear about the sinful reactions because he is going to deliver. And he is the only one who can give us liberation. So yes, this is the most confidential knowledge. This confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere. See, we require some sacrifice to do. We have to be strict on ourselves, discipline. If people are not that, then it's like, throwing water into the stone. So it's not use. Or if they are not devoted, they might be devotees, but they are not engaged in devotional service. Not to one who is envious. Okay. So this knowledge you cannot give to them. He tells Arjuna, don't tell them, there's no point. They will never understand. So, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. At the end, he will come back to him. So, he says, if this is done to them, devotional service is guaranteed and he will come back to me. So, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there be. So, we need to try to become dear to the Lord. Now, this is the Shruti Pala. After all these 18 days, you all are sat so patiently. You're listening to this. For 1 hour, you have given of your things. Every day, you all have come and listened to this Bhagavad Gita. Now, Krishna is giving you the benefits. I declare that he who studies the sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So, you're doing arati to it. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the planets where the best. So we can keep on listening and listening to this Bhagavad Gita, and slowly our faith will develop, and slowly even we get free from the sinful reactions. This is the Shruti Pala, okay? And attain to the planets where the piety. So you all have done a good thing. So finally, now what does Arjuna say? Oh Krishna, my illusion has gone by your mercy. From your mercy, my illusion has gone. Nashta moha smriti labdha. And now I'm free from doubts. Gata sandeha. That means I'm free from doubts and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. Karishya vachanam tva. That is, I'm prepared to act. Now he's completely free from doubts and he has all his thing and he has listened to all the confidential knowledge he got. Right? And now when Krishna said, you deliberate on it and act, he says, there's no need to do. I will just act according to your instructions. So I'll fight because this is your battle. So I will do it. Now comes the last concluding verses are from Sanjaya. So let us see what Sanjaya said. Thus I heard the conversation of two great souls. Who are there? Krishna and Arjuna. So wonderful is that message that my ear is standing up. He's so overwhelmed. You can see the expression. By the mercy of Vyasadeva, he's telling by mercy of Vyasadeva, who was a spiritual master, I've heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, that is Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. So no one in that battlefield heard. It was only Krishna and Arjuna talking, and Sanjaya could hear everything. And he's telling all of it to Krishna. But Arjuna became very ecstatic, and even Sanjaya is overwhelmed. But Dhritarashtra, no, he couldn't understand even one word of it because his heart was full of envy. He was envious of Pandavas. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. For him, he is relishing for the dialogue which was going on there in the battlefield. O king, when I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, what all wonderful form he saw the universal form of Krishna, then he saw the Narayan four-handed form, as well as the two-handed form of Krishna. So he says, whenever I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with even greater wonder. I rejoice again and again and again. He is going on and on telling oh king, I'm so happy, I'm so rejoicing, so happy he is. And finally he says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pato Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhote Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So, and it is very clear from here that Arjuna is the eternal associate of the Lord. And is a great devotee. And says, wherever there is Krishna, then his associates will also be there. His devotees will also be there take part in the pastimes. So wherever there is Krishna, and wherever then Krishna is there, then Arjuna will also be there. So then there will certainly be victory, morality, extraordinary power, and opulence. Because opulence is because the Lakshmi will be there, Sri Lakshmi. So this is my opinion. So this is the concluding verse by Sanjaya. We started with Dhritarashtra's verse. Now we conclude with Sanjaya's saying that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pato Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matirva. Okay. So this is what we did today.